No, it was just, we had 3 claims on one of our properties because, 2 from the down trees, the big storm last January, and then 1, a hot water heater had burst in one of the rental units. And so we got like a 90-day cancellation notice in August, and then it was up in December last month. And so we had to install the whole home water shutoff system. So that's like what all the insurance carriers are requiring now. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun process, trying to get it done during the holidays, and like you've got deadlines and you've already got things planned. So, just make life a little bit more interesting, throw a wrench in it sometimes. So,
And then to top it all off, the company that we were going through put the wrong address on. So they ended up like, nope, sorry, can't do it. And
but
it was
yeah.
like 2 days before we needed to get it done.
Welcome to The Breakthrough with Stephen Husted, the show that takes you behind the scenes with successful entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and other movers and shakers in the business world. In each episode, we'll sit down with our guests to explore their personal and professional journeys, including the challenges they faced, the breakthrough moments that propelled them to success, and the strategies and the tactics they use to get there. Get inspired by new ideas and strategies and get to know our guests on a deeper level. Join us for candid conversations, powerful insights, and plenty of breakthrough moments. Please help us grow by subscribing and sharing the podcast, and welcome to the show. Welcome back to The Breakthrough with Stephen Husted. Today we're joined by Andrew Cumpston and Paige Bohrer from Pillar to Post, a top property inspection company in Santa Cruz. Andrew and Paige bring unmatched quality, precision, professionalism to every inspection. They've redefined what it means to inspect a property, ensuring that buyers, sellers, and the real estate professionals receive detailed and accurate information. We'll hear about their journey from flipping houses in Sacramento to launching their business right before COVID and how they thrived despite the challenges. Plus, they have some wild stories like houses overtaken by nature and an underground grow operation. We'll also learn why pre-listing inspections are crucial and how maintaining your home is as important as maintaining your car, and what sets Pillar to Post apart with its rigorous training and ethical standards. Don't miss this episode. It's packed with practical tips and fascinating stories. Stay tuned. Thanks for jumping on, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Excited.
Yeah, so I know that I reached out to you guys probably a couple months ago when you were doing my inspection for my listing out in Santa Cruz on Broadway.
Yeah, we did the inspection for you. I think it was October, actually.
Was it October? Oh my gosh. So interesting enough that we're doing the podcast today, and 2 minutes before we jumped on, I just got word that we closed.
Well, nice.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Thanks. So it's kind of a full circle moment to have you guys on too. So that's great. Yeah. It was interesting hiring you guys because you guys do a whole different type of property inspection. It's way more thorough than I've been through in the past. How did you tell me your backgrounds first and foremost before you set up the property inspection company?
So I grew up family construction company. I've been doing it since I was knee high. Good way. My dad was babysitting me on the job site. I was swinging hammers. I was the little one on the job site, got all the terrible jobs of, hey, you're little. Can you fit that? I need you to do this. Hook up this electrical for me. So I was doing all that when I was little. I just figured that, going into inspections was going to save my back in the long run, my hearing, we ended up getting into some slight investments up in Sacramento area, and we flipped some houses. We got some for rentals, and it was kind of a natural transition. And we started looking at home inspection when we were purchasing those properties, and it was kind of like, you know what, this might be a way to go.
Yeah.
How did you set up your business model?
So Pillar to Post is a franchise. And so we had actually used them on our property inspections that we had done. So it was kind of like a natural transition. So we had bought a property and kind of talked to the recruiting company or the recruiting department for like 2 years. But then when we finally decided to pull the trigger, it was like 2 weeks before COVID. So we had like signed all of our franchise documents and all that stuff. And he was supposed to go to training like 2 weeks later. And then, you know what happened.
Down.
Oh, yeah. The
Yeah.
whole world shifted there for a minute there. Like the world was going to end during that. But then little did we know you're going to be the busiest home inspectors around.
Yeah. Yeah. So that delayed our opening about 5 months.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, that was, going with Florida Post was really like a no-brainer for us. They had a really good model. We liked working with them, and we felt really comfortable with their business. So
I didn't know they were a franchise.
yeah,
Largest
So
home
where
inspection
are they based out
company
of?
in North America? They have Canadian franchisees as well. They're all over East Coast, West Coast. We're just kind of the only one in the area.
Do they limit the amount that can franchise into it
they do.
in the
So
location?
our territory is technically Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito counties, and so
Okay.
within that area, you have to avoid somebody else coming in. That's another Florida Post. You have to have a certain percentage of the share of market. I believe it's like 25 to 30%, and we're currently at about 18 to 20%, just depending on the month.
Interesting. Do you know if they're in Silicon Valley, like Santa Clara County at this point?
We were pretty much the closest one. There's a gentleman, North Bay. He does a venture down up in Napa. There's another gentleman. Far as the east is Fresno, there's one, and then down south by Slow, there's another one. So we're kind of the only ones generally in this area.
Are you looking to open in
Interesting.
a territory?
I was gonna say that's
We can get you in touch.
interesting. So walk me through the process of going through a franchise. I'm not aware of that. I've never heard that as far as property inspection companies, but can you walk me through that?
Yeah, it first starts with a conversation with recruitment, right? They say it's pretty tough to get a franchise because they want to make sure that you're successful. They, same thing as McDonald's. They want to make sure that you're not cannibalizing your own market with being too close to another one. So, we spent the 2 years speaking with the recruitment company, and then they asked you to go speak with other Pillar to Post owners across the United States. So we spoke to people on the East Coast. We spoke to people in Canada. And so, yeah, that's the start of it. And then they start getting a little bit closer, like, oh, do you want to read the disclosure documents? And so it just keeps going. And then you get to the point where it's like, all right, are you ready to sign the contract? And we did. And we're very happy we did.
Yeah, we definitely did the due diligence on our end, made a lot of phone calls, talked with a lot of their franchisees, made sure it was the right call. And ultimately, we've been loving doing it.
What made you go the route of going into a franchise compared to just doing it on your own? What did you see when you went through the franchise? Did it seem like it was an easier, like they had the infrastructure in place, the marketing that you can just kind of, okay.
Yeah, having all that in place is you get to jumpstart a lot quicker, right? So you're not making as many mistakes as you would if you're just opening your own. So they have a proven business model. They're a part of a lot of organizations that we're currently a part of now. They really just made it so we save a bunch of years just like making mistakes. And so we were just able to hit the ground running with our marketing and our inspections and with the service provided.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the name too.
Yeah, essentially, I'd say it cut off a couple of years of just us making mistakes. Don't get me wrong, I love making mistakes. It's how we learn and get better, keep, progressing. But it really allowed us to hit the ground running on it. And
because the software, the software is there, the customer management, like the relationship, like people know the name Pillar to Post. If you've been, if you go to the California Association of Realtors, if you go to NAR, if you go to WCR, if you go to any of those events, like for the most part, or you've heard of Pillar to Post at some point.
And I had it. That's an interesting thing. Well, and that's, that's what, and it's interesting because I reached out to an agent friend that I know on the coast and said, "Hey, who do you use for property inspections?" And she gave me you guys his contact.
Oh, really? Who
So,
was it? Or is it a
Bree Still.
cool? Yeah.
You know Bree?
Oh, yeah, we
Yes,
love
we do.
Bree.
Yeah. Yeah, Bree's awesome. Yeah, we did a transaction together last year around this time. Or
Oh.
no, wasn't around this time. Last May, we did a transaction together. So every time that I have some kind of interesting question for her on the coast, I just reach out to her. She's super awesome.
Yeah, very nice. Again, full
Yeah.
circle.
And that was the thing that I noticed too when I got the report. I don't know. I think it was like it was the technology part of it, like just how things came over. I'm used to more old school, like how things are done. So, when I got everything, I was like, oh yeah, this company is really cool. So I was curious about how you guys, how you ran all the software and got the reports over to the clients. So at this point, how many inspections are you guys doing on a weekly basis on properties?
On a weekly basis, we're doing about 18 to 22, just depending on the week. And that could be a combination of like a mold test by itself, a full property inspection. It could be a walk-in talk. It could be a re-inspection. So about 18 to 22, just kind of depending on the week.
Yeah, it definitely depends. Obviously, condos can go much quicker than, let's say, a 8,000 square foot, mansion.
Yeah.
The different factors. Obviously, the mansion we're going to be there a lot longer on. Newer system, older systems. It just kind of, you never know what you're getting into in the job with this job, which is part of the fun of it. We can say we inspected the oldest privately owned home in Monterey County, 210 years old. We did that last year, and it was definitely an interesting, fun inspection for it.
Whoa. So tell me a little bit about this house. It's crazy. 200 years old. What condition was the house in?
It was actually pretty good condition. It was used as an event space, weddings and things, beautiful, gorgeous property.
Retreat.
Business retreats. There was 3 structures on the property, the old barn. It was an old adobe. So, little research needed to be done on my end with it to help understand it. But, it was a great property, beautiful.
How long did it take you guys to do that inspection?
It was me and one of my other guys. I want to say we were there for probably about 4.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's 3 structures, so we were there for a little time.
How many are within the team?
So there's 4 of us. I don't do any inspections. I'll do things like water testing or that's pretty much my bulk of the inspections. I'll do that. That's simple enough for me. But then there's Andrew, does all the inspections along with Chris and Daniel.
She's selling herself for. She handles all the marketing, visit, phone call,
everything that's on an inspection.
follow up.
So.
Yeah.
But 4 of us total, and then Andrew's daughter comes and works with us. We call her the intern. So on the weekends or, when she's out on school break for the summer, she comes on like broker's tour with me. She'll come do events with me. She loves it.
So what do you guys do as far as market? You said broker's tour. So what are you doing to get your name out there and market yourself? Like what do those avenues look like for you?
So we're in, I want to say like 7 or 8 different organizations. So we go to a ton of events. We sponsor a lot of events. Brokers tour. I'm out 3 days a week at least doing that. It's just always about being in front of people. The more they see you, the more they remember you, the more they know you.
Yes.
Instagram is huge for us as well. All the marketing. I mean, Andrew and Chris and Daniel, they send me videos, and it's a good way for people to know them as well. Because they see them at the inspections, I see them out in, at an event or something like that. So it's just a good balance, and the marketing on Instagram really just like buttons it all up. So
I bet you it'd be intriguing. I was thinking about this earlier on. I was following a guy that is a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it's not the sexiest thing as plumbing, but the way that he walks through a house and talks about what he's going and taking care of and what he found and how he solved it. It's almost as intriguing as there's another gentleman that I see on YouTube where he goes and he knocks on the door of a house that has the yard is overgrown.
Oh yes,
And
I've
just
seen
said,
him.
have you seen that guy?
Yeah, I just
I
watched one.
absolutely love watching that guy's videos.
Yeah.
It's just the cool. I don't know. There's something like relaxing and satisfying watching the guy clean up the yard in real time, and it's sped up, right? And you see like all the cuts in it, and then he pressure washes the sidewalk. I don't know what it is, but I'm just super intrigued on this. So
Yeah.
It's also kind of, in my opinion, a little relaxing when you see things like that of just the process going by it. And you kind of like, you're paying attention, but halfway zoned out,
Yeah.
understanding it too. And it definitely, fun to watch. I've seen those too. They're good.
what do you
Speaking of plumbers, we've got a good one that you can watch.
do
After
you
Hours Plumbing and Drain. Those guys, you would like to watch their videos too.
really? Oh, did they do some pretty insane videos?
Yeah, I think they do. I think you would like them. You should check them out.
Okay. Are you guys videoing when you're doing your art? Wait, I guess here's the better thing. Are you allowed to do videos of the property inspections when you're walking through to just tell the audience or tell, who's following you on social media, like what you're doing and what you're looking for? Man, that seems to be, that would be super intriguing.
So we don't necessarily go to that extent of it. I like to keep it kind of informational of like, if I'm calling out why kick out flashing is important on a roof, I'm generally just focused on that section of the roof. If I'm talking about a water heater, if I'm in the garage, I'm like, sometimes I've never had an issue, but sometimes people don't necessarily
You can
want
tell.
their
Yeah.
stuff out there. You can obviously, read the situation. Sometimes we're representing a buyer, the house ends up falling through. So like, I'm not trying to put that house on blast for whatever reason, so to speak, if
Yeah.
there were issues.
Absolutely.
So I just kind of focus on what I'm trying to talk about. And then, if there's certain really cool, like I said, the oldest home privately owned home in Monterey County, everybody was okay with me putting that out there. The listing, we were representing the listing agent on that one and the sellers, and he was okay with it. So yeah, we kind of ask, we feel the situation, we know when not to.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're not calling out the property address ever. Like, I'm sure, like, you've seen other home inspectors, like, they take a picture of the front of the house and they're like, inspected, right? We don't do that. We don't call out an agent unless they want us to do that. But we are strictly just, like, we'll hold some of the videos for, like, months. So you could never really know which house we're referring to when we're talking about in certain things. So.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
If I have an issue during a transaction or on a property, I'll put it in stories on Instagram.
Yes.
I'll talk about certain things and I won't really say what property. I'll just kind of briefly and be vague about it. But for instance, I've been waiting to make a video on the Broadway transaction on staging. On staging. Because, we're really adamant of staging the property, and the seller said that she was going to take care of herself. Even though we were going to even pay for it, she did herself, and it wasn't staged good.
Oh.
And, the rooms didn't have beds in it, some of them. The back master bedroom, had a day bed. And so it was funny. We started doing the open houses. And buyers would walk through and they go, how many bedrooms are in here? And then they'd be in the back room going, can I do a queen?
Yeah.
Or a full, like, what can go back here? And I just had to and at that point I had to measure the room out and figure out the beds myself, just so that I could tell the buyers what they could do, but they can't visualize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, they just can't. And so I was just holding off, but today I'm going up to Santa Cruz doing the key exchange. I'm going to make that last video.
There you go.
And, I'm just going to say, and I think that it's important to look, I think it's very important to be very transparent, good or bad, on transactions, because it's very easy to just shoot something onto Instagram or Facebook and say, just listed, now it's pending, and then just sold.
Yeah.
But there is so much to a transaction that I think buyers and sellers want to know,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, because the bad scenarios, they want to learn from that. Oh, I really do need to stage my house.
Yeah.
This is why, because I think that not having it staged properly, one, didn't get as many people in the door because it didn't show good online. And once they got in the door, they couldn't visualize anything. They didn't even know where their TV could go.
Yeah.
And we were on the market. That was the longest days on market I've ever gone through.
What,
My
that
whole
you've
career.
ever gone through? Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you
Wasn't
sure
it?
with the
You know,
home
no,
inspection works?
No. Well, that's funny. No, even that's funny you bring that up. The property inspection was good. That was a
Okay,
pretty
good.
damn clean. That was a clean property for the most part. So no, I really do truly think it was a combination of maybe the busy street and the staging. So I'm going to talk about it and put it out there so that a seller could learn, that it's wise to stage your house. So
Yeah, no, and that's good to share all that stuff that's in between, because I mean, anybody that had a transaction in their life knows that nothing goes the way that you think it's going to go. I mean, we've never had anything go easy on any of our transactions. And I mean, if I would have had an Instagram when we were doing that, I would definitely be sharing it. So going forward, I definitely will be, because I like to be a cautionary tale for people. So, I mean, we recently had our homeowners insurance get canceled on one of our properties, and that was like, it turned into a really good like informational theory for our Instagram. And so we just, we like to share all information besides just home inspection tips, right? So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's hear about this cancellation of insurance. So California, are you in the mountains, or are you close to? Where were you?
You would think that it was like high fire zone or mountains or something like that. No, it was just we had 3 claims on one of our properties because 2 from the down trees, the big storm last January, and then one, a hot water heater had burst in one of the rental units. And so we got like a 90-day cancellation notice in August, and then it was up in December last month. And so we had to install the whole home water shutoff system. So that's like what all the insurance carriers are requiring now. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun process, trying to get it done during the holidays, and like you've got deadlines and you've already got things planned. So, just make life a little bit more interesting, throw a wrench in it sometimes. So,
And then to top it all off, the company that we were going through put the wrong address on. So they ended up like, nope, sorry, can't do it. And
But
it
yeah.
was like 2 days before we needed to get it done. And
scrambling to find, it was an experience. So yeah, we shared that whole debacle on the Instagram. So
Yeah, were people commenting on it?
oh yeah, I mean,
Curious.
it's good information, because if you haven't been through it yet and you're in real estate, it will happen to you. So
That is interesting enough. Back in like 2020, late 2019, I started following people in the Midwest that were agents that were, doing investment properties. And that's kind of how I got into investing out of state. And a lot of it was just based on their learning lessons and all the good, the bad, the ugly, and watching that. And it was so intriguing that finally you can get some real life information, good or bad. And I think that's the most important part. I mean, I know that if you have investment properties, you could make a ton of content just based on all the things you go through, right?
Yeah.
The insurance, what you had to go through, the deadline, the issues.
Yeah.
And you guys are in property inspectors. And so you guys are more versed on understanding this, and it still can be a complicated puzzle. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing's ever easy. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it, right? So
they definitely glamorize it online, don't they?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, if you just listen to somebody and they don't share their fails.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Like, everybody's going to fail. You get back up, you try again, you keep doing it, keep pushing forward, learn from it.
Yeah.
A lot of the videos on YouTube, podcasts, books, whatnot, whatever I'm consuming, they're constantly saying, essentially, I'm doing this so you can learn from my mistakes and keep pushing forward. And they'll share their big fails, their little fails, whatever. And if you just think it's all roses and nobody shares that, whether it's gym culture, investment culture, whatever, like people fail. Just get up, keep going.
100%. I'm with you on that. I try to limit who I follow. I try to make sure that I feel like they're giving me a good balance of, real what's truly going on behind the scenes, because it's definitely not, rosy with investment properties. How many do you guys have?
We have a triplex right now. We're working on something else. So hoping for more in 2024.
We're definitely not big time. We're little time going for it. But yeah, we're trying to always keep the ball rolling. Have our fingers in different pots, so to speak. Wear a bunch of hats, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Where are you guys? Only in California, or are you out of state? Where are you investing?
For right now, only in California. One of my goals is to get out of state, where it could be a fun vacation for us. Airbnb the rest of the time in like Key West or whatever, it's just, that's down the road though.
Yeah, I think I was listening to one of your episodes, and are you investing in Missouri?
I am. Yeah, that's one of the states that we're in. We're in Kansas City, throughout Missouri, Detroit, my problem child, and that's my problem child, and Tennessee. We have a Airbnb. We got a cabin out in the Smokies.
Nice.
So
very cool. That sounds diverse. It looks like you can take a couple trips, business trips.
Yeah. We, it's we go out there a couple times a year and look at the cabin, make repairs, make adjustments. I haven't personally gone out there and just enjoyed it, where I just showed up and relaxed for a week. It is always, we have a laundry list, and it's always the running joke is, let me see how many times I'm going to go to Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yes.
In 3 days. It's funny.
Paige does the same thing when I'm doing repairs around the house. It's like, she's like, you just went. Why do you need to go again? I'd be like, because now I need this other thing that I didn't think I needed.
Yeah.
And, it's always the thing.
It snowballs.
Yeah, it does.
The last time I went out in September, and we got the bright idea that we're gonna stage the house for Thanksgiving and Christmas and take photos.
Yeah.
And so, of course, my ADHD kicks in, and I'm at like this Hobby Lobby place picking out Christmas decor and all this other stuff, and I'm just on overload buying all this stuff and bringing it back, and we're setting up the Christmas tree and taking photos, but
you're like, I went overboard.
I seriously did. I got it back, and I'm like, oh gosh, there's so many bags of stuff. But at the end of the day, we decorated the whole house, took the photos, we saved it for. We have a personal decorator that comes in before the holidays, and she sets up the Thanksgiving decor, takes it down, comes back in for Christmas, sets up the tree, sets up everything else, takes it down for us. So
yeah, that's nice. We went to the Grand Canyon for Christmas, and they had done the decorating like you're talking about. And I've never seen an Airbnb do that. So I don't know if that's like a new super host thing that people are doing. But I mean, we travel a lot on the holidays, but I've never seen anyone do that. And it was like very nice.
Yeah, I see it in some markets, but definitely in the Smokies for Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're coming there for that type of vibe.
Yeah.
And downtown, like Gatlinburg, is very Christmassy, like pretty much all year round, it seems like.
Yeah.
They have a complete Christmas store that's open all year round. So we just like decorated it out. But interesting enough, if you ever decide to look in the Florida market, the short-term shop, Avery and Carl are definitely your go-to. Like you want to join their Facebook group, I can definitely connect you guys.
Yeah.
Because they have boots on the ground, agents, inspectors, the whole 9 yards.
Well, yeah, and we would love to. Yeah. We're actually leaving for Florida tomorrow. So if
Oh, really?
If we see something, we might be able to go see it while we're there. We're gonna be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. What part of Florida are you going?
So we have brand conference starting. Oh God, my God, when is it? Thursday. So we're going to Jacksonville. It's actually at the Sawgrass. I don't know if you're a golfer. Then
Oh,
we're going
cool.
to Daytona and Key West. So we're gonna be like all over the place.
Great. Yeah, that's a little business
All business.
pleasure write-off. All
All
business.
All
business.
business.
All business.
I mean,
All
that's
business.
one thing. That's one thing with me and Paige is it doesn't stop. Honestly, we're always talking. A good hour, 2, 3 a day of work, whether it actually inspecting or maybe the plans in the future. And
Well, we're taking we've got brand conference, and then we're taking all of the goals that we've written down, and like we're going hammering all of that out. We don't really start our goals until after brand conference, and we get back in February. So that's when we really start changing things for the new year.
And one good thing about brand conference, we're essentially all the franchisees, or majority of the franchisees are all together, and we can share ideas, try to learn from them, what's working for them, could we implement, making the relationships. I've got a group of guys that I text, we'll ask each other questions, things, spitball ideas. Paige is the same way. So usually, get home at night, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Oh, hey, what do you think about this? And we'll start the conversation about that too. But
Yeah.
we're always just essentially what's next.
Do you feel like you're ever going to a different market?
Like expand.
Do you think you'll scale? Yeah, do you think you'll scale into another market, or do you feel like sticking to where you guys are at right now it just makes more sense and it's easier to concentrate on just one area or areas? You're on the coast for the most part.
Yeah, we're on the coast.
Yeah.
We go into Santa Clara. But we live in Seaside, which is like right in Monterey. So within our territory, we can drive. We can drive for up to 2 hours and still be in our territory. So for us, drive in San Jose, it's like an hour. So why wouldn't we go work in San Jose? So expanding potentially, but we want to really get to a higher share of market in the territory that we're currently in. So maybe at year 5.
Yeah, that's something we lightly talked about, but we're in agreement that it's always going forward. There's not, we're trying to stall and stay complacent. It's what can we do to keep growth going, get better, whether it's implementing systems and processes or just going up to expand. And I think it is a natural transition that down the road it'll happen, but as of right now, we don't have any immediate plan.
Yeah.
This kind of jogged a question. Have you guys been business owners before? Is this your first business that you've owned?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I've always worked for somebody
All right.
else. You've worked for other people. So yeah, first business.
It's interesting, right? It's much different.
Much different.
Much different than a W-2.
I like it.
It's like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
And you always feel, no matter how far you're moving forward, you always feel like you're behind the 8 ball.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
Right? Isn't that the truth?
Some of my friends will say, Paige, like, if you just stop and look at what you've done for the business, like the two of us, you would be amazed, because every single day you just are in the trenches. It feels like you're doing the same thing, but you don't really realize the growth until you get there. So I started doing a daily business journal, right? Like, what did I do today? Successes, things like that. Maybe not some successes, things that pissed me off. Then go back in a year and I'd be like, oh look, that sucks, but everything's good now, So
on my end, I've been saying a lot lately to Paige, especially, that success leaves clues. What are the other people doing that are bigger than me that I can do as well? And I'm just trying to learn from it, because we briefly touched on it, all the fails, the mistakes people make, I want to learn from those too. That's one of the reasons why we watch some of those videos. But it's also, what can I do better? What are they doing that I can implement? And so one of the goals this year, we kind of set the goal last year, but I feel like this year we're actually going to be sticking to it, is I want to go tour a couple shops. Some of the bigger guys that, have 10 inspectors underneath them. What's their training process like? What are they doing that I can do? And that's one of the goals I think we're going to stick with this year is get out there, see what other people are doing, learn from it.
Do you guys read books or do audiobooks?
He's the big book. I mean, I read, but just not like the self-improvement stuff. I haven't gotten there yet.
And so, yeah, exactly what you just said, owning a business is a little different. And that's when I started diving into the self-development, business first, personal, and then probably fatherhood third. I feel like they all do kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, I've read it. Honestly, it's mainly Audible audiobooks because I can have a 5-minute drive to my inspection, or I could have an hour and a half, depending on traffic.
And that's just like one way.
Yeah, one way. So it's like, I'm not, whether learning from podcasts or the audiobook or however I'm consuming it, I'm definitely dived into it, the self-development journey, and figure out how.
Yeah, you did that a lot in 2023. That was like big for you. So
yeah. And I mean, back at you. You're big into reading the books, right? Or listening to it. I just want to ask you, what is probably the best book you've read last year that helped shape it?
Traction, Profit First, Unfuck Yourself.
that's a name.
Traction and Profit First. Those are, I've actually got them on my Audible, and
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
I went and got them, and I'm about to finish up The Richest Man in Babylon right now.
Cool.
I think I've got like 30 minutes, 45 minutes left on it. And then either Traction or Profit First is the next one I'm going.
Traction is definitely when you're having your sights on that bigger property inspection company that has 10, and you just said, how are they doing that? How they got 10 in there? It's not who, it's not how, it's who.
Yeah.
Who can you hire, outsource, whether it's some VAs. I think VAs can really make your business flourish really fast.
It's funny you say that. I just replied to an email today about a virtual assistant. I was like, maybe we should look into this for 2024.
Absolutely. I would highly suggest it, honestly. And it will take off some things off your plate. And you know what's really cool? I try not to talk about VAs on the podcast a lot because it's a big part of being an entrepreneur, especially when you're wanting to scale. You can't do it all yourself. You have all these ideas and you want to put all these systems in place, but you are out, doing the day to day. And so what you want to do is get people behind you that you're basically making more of you, and they're taking on roles that they're really good at, and you can let them hyper focus on one certain task. And you will be amazed if you do this in the beginning of the year, and we're in January. So this is the best time to start it. You will be blown away by the end of the year of what you've put in place, whether it's how to systemize your business, how to, whatever it is. You just find somebody to do it and just let them go to town.
Yeah.
That's
highly suggested.
I mean, as a business owner, and we're somewhat small, we're essentially small. Wearing so many different hats as the business owner, I'm kind of lead inspector, trainer, inspector myself. So it's like I've got so many different hats and trying to focus everything. And then it's like I'm realizing I need to transition and pivot so where I can focus, hire people to take some of that off my plate and focus on other things I need to focus on as a business owner, vice versa on her end. And that's just one of the things where I'm coming to realize is like you have to let the hustler die pretty much. Like any business owner that goes into it, nobody's going to work harder than me. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's not realistic. You can't grow. Like, yeah, I'm the hustler and I've always done it. But essentially this year, it's like, okay, I got to let the hustler die, bring in the other people. And we've had the conversation before where like, well, if your business, if your baby, you're the one doing it. Well, okay, if you can do 100% of everything you're doing, but you need to bring in people underneath you hire, and they might only give 80%, but you hire 5 of them. That's still a lot more percentage than the 100 you can take on. So it's really coming in 450% versus your 100. So that's one thing that I'm focusing on this year. I know for sure.
You're on the right path. You're thinking of just exactly how you should be thinking. And you're at that moment right where you need to be. Like, this is just the natural progression too.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. I like hearing this. I had the burnout a couple years ago because I thought I could do it all, and I wasn't. And you know what it really was doing? It was setting me back, actually, because I was so stressed out all the time, bouncing around through the day, doing all kinds of different things. And I have a full-time VA, and then I have a almost full-time social media manager as well. And then I have a bunch of editors and other people on my team, and it's still overwhelming. And now I'm at that point where I want to put team members in just to do one certain task all day. Like, this is all they do. I'm working on that for our short-term rental in the Smokies. It's easy to do, but I want to systemize that. We have a lot of properties, and there's a lot of back and forth. There's just some things that really need my attention, but I'm trying to, be better with time.
Time management is tough.
Time management is the one thing. This is my biggest goal for this year, is getting up earlier, having some time to myself in the morning, and not getting up and then all of a sudden going, oh, okay, I got a podcast at 10. What am we going to talk about? Oh, I got to drive to Santa Cruz. I got to do, I need that 1 hour, hour and a half to myself, not to think about that, not to build up any anxiety, and then set that day up. And, I think that when you're an entrepreneur, you're always learning, you're always trying to figure out better ways for your business. And that's the key, because the minute you stop doing that, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're not into it anymore, whatever that means. So
you had burnout a couple of years ago, and then what brought you back?
I finally hired a VA.
Hiring the VA.
And I hired a VA, and then I had to learn how to train my VA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, I don't even know how I'm going to keep her busy. Why I would think, but isn't that the weirdest thought?
Yeah.
Here I'm stressed out, but now I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep her busy.
Yeah.
Then now she's busy from the minute she starts to the minute she ends. And she's in multiple businesses, and she's learning. I consider what I do, being in real estate, being a real estate investor, shooting content, having a podcast. I feel like I'm in a constant startup.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel on a daily basis. So just learning to not putting the who in place is the key.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a big issue, like, oh, we need to systemize our business. You brought that up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does systemizing a business look like? Okay, let's do some research on that. Okay, who can help us systemize our business?
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to Upwork. So now I'm going to Upwork, and I'm going to look for a VA or, some type of someone who can systemize my business out. And you'll find those types of contractors there.
Yeah.
And you can hire them out of state, in another country.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you start to, now all those pain points, you just start finding people to take care of those pain points.
You're just like, I need this. You're hired.
I need this. Yeah. And then you focus on the bigger parts of your business. And I'm still not there. It sounds, I'm not trying to make it sound easy, because it's definitely not easy, but it's made it easier.
Yeah.
We're on this podcast right now, and we're talking, and my assistants are, doing 4 or 5 different tasks right now.
Yeah.
Does that, what I mean?
Yeah.
Some days I'm not even in the mood to do anything. Like maybe a day I'm just burned out. a lot of things got done today
Yeah.
because my team was helping. So support is a big thing. And yeah, I like to see you guys. I want to see you get to the bigger property management team.
I know
That's the goal.
we want to too. It's definitely something that we've been really more looking at in the past, like even 4 weeks. So there's gonna be some more stuff happening in 2024. It's just hours in the day. Can I get a VA to go look up all these properties for me?
Yeah, so
Take care of that.
I got an idea. So what would a VA do for you right now in your business?
Oh my God,
what would
see?
be the task you would have your VA do?
What would you have your VA do? I do a lot. I'll go first. So, I do a lot of like CRM stuff, and client follow up. So I would probably do that. I mean, I spend like an hour and a half in the morning doing like tasks like that. And then I spend like 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon doing tasks like that at least 2 or 3 times a week, where I fit it in my schedule. So that right there is like at least an hour and a half a day, and then if you're adding the other days that I do it, that's like 5 hours worth of follow up and CRM management that I can take off my plate then.
I mean, I think getting more help on her end is probably the most important part of our business right now, because even right now, like we're both here, our phones are on silent. We could be getting phone calls to book inspections. We don't know if they're checking after them.
Yeah.
So that would be, hey, we're going to be unavailable. We're doing a podcast. Phones are yours, essentially.
Yeah.
I think on her end, the more important. On my end, I need to focus on training protocols and essentially, inspectors and trainers, getting out there doing the grunt work, so to speak, and putting the systems in place. That's one thing I've been working on myself, is updating our template with our inspection software. I'm trying to do X amount of hours a month doing that. And so, I mean, I don't think I'm there to be hiring a personal assistant yet on my end with it, but I know that's down the road for sure. I think getting some help on her end is more important right now.
Yeah, and definitely a VA could definitely help you on that part, Paige. You'll have to do some training in the beginning, but once you develop how you train your VA, you're also developing systems as you're doing that too.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to be blown away.
Yeah.
If you get a good one.
We'll have to come back in a year and do like an update or something.
We're going to have to do that. So we're doing that. You got it.
Sure.
So give me some crazy things you've been seeing on property inspections.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Oh man, where do I start this? No, I mean, we've seen it all. This has
been a question on my mind for the last couple months when I knew that you guys were going to get on. I was like, I want to hear what they really go through and what are some of the crazy things they see.
Most of the time, it's just a standard home, lacking maintenance in some regards versus the others. Getting in a crawl space, nobody ever really does that. They don't know if they have any plumbing leaks or whatnot underneath there. But, I mean, part of like some crazy stuff I've seen, up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, there was
here we go.
that they ended up deciding to sell. The family decided to sell, but everybody lived back east in New York, I believe it was, and nobody had seen the house for 30 years. It was logging. They used the land for logging, essentially, and they would have a plot, log it next year, change it, just keep going. So nobody had seen this house in 30 years. I get there, the forest is taking the house back. Like, it's sliding off the hill, mushrooms growing in the ceiling. And I'm looking at the agent, I'm like, why am I here doing this? And he just said, we don't have any disclosures on the property. Nobody's seen this house in 30 years. Your report's a disclosure. So I was like, okay, I got it. So got the work, done it. I've done houses where they've been rentals. And again, they lived in Washington State, hadn't seen the house in however long. And people decided to do some big row houses in the property. And they ended up getting kicked out. And then they snitched on the other house. So then the city came through, found out there was a third house not permitted. They just took a big chainsaw right down the middle of the house, removed it, kitchen and bathrooms. They red tagged both houses. That's my longest report yet. 296 pages on that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I've seen
Wow.
some crazy stuff.
So when you start doing these property inspections, do you see issues that you go, okay, this could have been easily preventable?
Yeah. I kind of do it on my dad's house when I go visit too.
yeah.
He was in construction for, had his own company for 43, 44 years, something like that before he retired. And so it's like, Dad, you need to get this taken care of. And he goes, but I could do it. I'm like, then do it. But he's older now.
But you're not.
He can't do it. And so it's just one of those things where, it's like, just hire somebody. I'll pay for it. Just call them, get them to come start painting, fix some dry rot, whatever, And I mean, a home has maintenance issues just like a car. You go get your car oil changed, brakes changed, tires rotated. A home is no different. You have service requirements need to do on the home. Otherwise, it just kind of, goes downhill from there. And once it starts going, you're going to put a lot of money into it to get it back to where it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, because it seems like, well, it is from what my experience, sellers only do property inspection when they go to sell their house.
Majority
it's
of
something
yes. There's been some people that just call us and say, I've lived in the house for a few years. I just want to know more about it. Will you come inspect it?
Really? Okay.
Typically, yes, that is the case. During real estate transactions, this is probably 99% of the one.
Well, and it's funny too. I don't know if I know you work in like different parts of the country, but in California, because I mean, franchises are always like different parts of the country are doing different things. Our area here in California, we're like the first to be doing these pre-listings. It's like a very West Coast thing. And so like different markets don't do it. And so we get called from other franchisees all the time, like, how are you guys marketing the pre-listing stuff? And we're like, this is just how it's been. And so we give tips and stuff like that on how we do our pre-listing inspections. But I mean, it's not very common, like Midwest, East Coast, it's not really prevalent over there yet. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you get into contract on the property, you do your inspections, and you might find issues and you try to negotiate, and maybe that seller says, screw you, take it as is. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm in the hole another $5,000. Completely different. But I think because the West Coast is it's such a non-contingent market for the most part, that we just have to get those inspections done up front just to make sure we get a cleaner offer. I don't know why they don't do it like that out there, but I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
It's interesting.
Maybe we'll find out at Brain Conference.
Yeah, I mean, California has always set the precedent in a lot of regards for the rest of the country. And I feel like that is one thing that is going to start trickling over, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15. I think it's just a matter of time, because as a real estate agent, if you realize, all right, we're going to get the pre-listing done, we can do repairs, clean up the report, put it on the market, get stronger offers. But I mean, as far as if you're a seller, the buyer goes and gets a home inspection done, and there's some major red flags that they might not have known about. And then all of a sudden it's like, they needed to sell. Like, I've got a job somewhere else, I'm relocating, I need to sell this. That could be a big hit for them. And so just knowing that up front would be big in my opinion. I mean, it is big in my opinion for the seller to get the most they can.
Absolutely. And just knowing the bigger issues, that you can actually work through it with a potential, buyer and the buyer agent. When they see the reports, there's a level where you can start to work through that, or they could put a dollar amount on what that repair looks like and build that into their offer, instead of getting a contract and going, oh my gosh, I didn't know it had this. And I think this is going to cost me $20,000 and it's a $10,000 fix. So I don't know why they don't do it like that in the Midwest. The only thing in the Midwest that I go through, it's mostly on my investment properties. When a tenant moves out, my property management company goes in there and does a property inspection. And then we go through that list of like, okay, here are the things we got to do to get it ready for the market again. And we do that on all the properties, which is really good. So it kind of gives me a good insight of what's going on my rentals.
Mm.
Not every property management company out there does that, but my new PM definitely does, and God, I love them. Best property management company I've ever had.
Ooh, give him a shout out.
He's going to be on the podcast. He was on the podcast.
Oh, which
James
okay.
Jones.
Which one was I
CJ.
missed that one. I haven't listened to all of them just yet. I was like trying to get through some of them this weekend. So
Yeah, he was just on. So it's actually getting launched tomorrow.
oh, nice.
And honestly, I thought it was an amazing episode for somebody who wants to buy investment properties out of state. Property management, just like your contractor, will make or break you. It's that simple. If you don't have those two firing on all cylinders, you're going to have a rough time out there investing.
Yeah, we do work with a couple property management companies. We won't do necessarily a full home inspection. It's kind of like an agreed upon list of like, what do we need to take care of now? Like any leaks, major issues, safety thing. And what we'll end up doing is we'll shoot the house on a 360 tour. So they'll have a reference point of when the tenants move in versus when they leave.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's no discrepancies of, hey, that wasn't me, that was there when I moved in. They can always go back on the empty home and be like, no, that you punched the hole in that.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. We got photos.
Yeah.
So what do you guys like to do for fun?
For fun.
Travel?
Oh,
what do you do?
God.
Oh man.
Fun.
I mean, a loaded question.
Loaded because we're busy all the time. I mean, we're outdoorsy people. You know, we went to the Grand Canyon for Christmas. We like to, go to national park. We've got like the national park passport, so we kind of like make it a thing to do that. The travel hiking.
Yeah, we go hiking locally, and then we try to do 1 or 2 big trips a year and just work through. Like my daughter do a lot of the national park, and just so she can experience it. 'Cause, I mean, every kid's kind of got the stories of their family tradition growing up, and that's one of ours. And so like she's done some really cool stuff for being a 9-year-old. Like last year for Thanksgiving, 2 Thanksgivings ago, she did the Zion
oh, cool.
hikes through the Narrows in the
Utah
Canyon or the river. We just did mule riding at the Grand Canyon for Christmas a couple weeks ago. So yeah, she's got some fun stuff under her belt that she can look back on and reference.
Yeah, that's great. Memories.
Yeah. What else do we do for people? Oh my God, I don't know. Yeah,
you're building out a business, damn it.
And being outdoors. I mean, we've got our 2 dogs, and so we love our dogs. We take them to the dog park all the time.
Dog park, beach. Reading is kind of what I'm doing. Paige just had a goal of reading so many books last year.
Yeah, I try and read at least a book a month. Sometimes I can get a little bit more in there, but maybe when I hire my rituals, I can do 2 a month. So
a few concerts and festivals last year. Cali Roots is coming up, so things like that.
Oh, what kind of music you guys like?
Right.
What are you into?
Music.
Do you?
I mean, I just kind of like got into country a little bit. But yeah, reggae, death metal a little bit.
I mean, Wu-Tang just got the residency in Vegas. I haven't talked to her about it yet, but we might be going.
Really? At where? Where are they going to be?
I can't remember where exactly off the top of my head. They're launching it Super Bowl weekend. And so, yeah, they got a residency this upcoming year in Vegas. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to go see Wu-Tang and, kind of somewhat grew up on Wu-Tang. So, Wu-Tang's really cool.
Steven's like, I'm going.
Yeah. Well, whenever they're playing at, what is it? The Sphere?
No, it's not there. It's at one of the casinos. I'm just blanking right now off the top of my head on which one it is.
Yeah, that would be cool. I want to go check out. My dream concert would be go see Tool at Sphere in Las Vegas. I think that'd be just absolutely insane because I heard that the sound system's crazy.
That would be a good one. And they do like a lot of like, I went to a Tool concert. I don't know, it's probably like 14 or 15. But I do remember like they're very long songs and so that would be really good with a good sound system.
Hey, if Tool goes to the Sphere, let us know. We'll meet you there.
Yeah.
All right. Now I like you guys even more because you like Tool.
Yeah.
You like Tool.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo. All right. This is good. Hold on. Let me show you. This is the book I got for Christmas, and yeah, I have you a minute.
Yeah, see. Oh, very nice. How is it?
I don't know. I haven't started.
It looked very long.
Look at,
It's huge.
oh man. You know, I try to, I have good intentions and some things just don't happen.
Yeah.
And reading books is just one of those things. I've read a couple books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one that I read. But it's just hard for me. I just want an audio. I can just go through an audio at any point, like what you said. I could be in my car, I go to Target, wherever, and I can just go through that audiobook.
Yeah.
I'm just better that way. But my wife bought it for me for Christmas, and you know, I got to read it. And I put it out on Instagram stories, so now I'm definitely have to do it because
Now you have to. You're committed.
I have to. Yeah.
Well, see, I started doing library books instead of buying books because then it like gives you a deadline on when you have to get it read by.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to pay the quarter fine, you know?
Yeah. So you set yourself a deadline.
Yeah. It forces you a deadline and you're saving like $15 a book or $30 for the Elon book. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm
let's
with you
definitely-
on Audible. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. You know, you're consuming it, you're understanding. But there have been a couple books that I've listened to on Audible, and I'm like, I need to read this now. And then I'll end up purchasing it from like Amazon and whatnot, and then I'll actually go through it. There's been a couple like that, and then there's a few books. I do like to read about people that have done extraordinary things. So like right now I'm reading T.E. Lawrence with the World War I and the fall of the Ottoman Empire. I'm actually physically reading that one. And so, yeah, but Audible, hey, you're no different. You're still retaining and learning. So I consider it.
How long is that book?
550 pages with the little print. So, you know, probably very similar to that one.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
See how
I
little
mean, this one is, how many pages are we on this one? Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. It's about 600.
Oh, it's very similar.
Come talk to me in 2027.
No, next year. Our follow-up podcast.
I know, right? So what other, here's my last question for you guys. I just thinking about this. So your goals and things, what do you have on your radar that it's in your brain, you're thinking about it, but you haven't executed on it? Hadn't put anything in play, whether that's for, that could be individual or collectively, but what are you know how we always have something in the beginning of the year, or we have something all year round that we really want to do and work on, but then you never do it. Do you have one? Do you have any of those?
Yeah. So I do want to start another business. I would want it not in the real estate sector. I have something that I've thought about for many years, and it's something that I would like to do one day. So yeah, I would like to do that. If we're talking about the business, we would like to expand. We would like to have somebody doing more just like environmental stuff. So mold testing, lead testing,
Asbestos.
that's it's like essentially doing all of that. We just have one person doing that. And that would be huge for us in our business. So that's kind of the goal for this year too.
Yeah, as far
Good.
as the business, you know, like she said, I mean, we've touched on a lot of it.
Yeah.
Growth, expansion. You know, there's certain numbers we track monthly. You know, market share being one of them. What is it? How many houses sold? How many do we expect? We compare the two, get our market share. So like the numbers, you know, they steer us certain things we need to be doing. As far as like marketing, I think we have a different approach going to be happening this year.
Yeah.
You know, what's that old thing? You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, not learning and same result, whatnot.
Yep.
So yeah, we're trying to switch it up a little bit this year.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone through 3 full years of business. So first it was just like getting ourselves out there and oversaturating ourselves and just like being at everything and doing everything. And so now things are going to be a little bit more intentional with certain, with people that we think can help grow our business. So I've got 4 pages of stuff that we've talked about throughout 2023 that we're going to do. And so part of my packing list for Florida tomorrow is to print out 2 sets, and we're going to like go through that. I mean, we're driving from Daytona down to Key West. So that's going to be a full 8 hours of conversation about going through these things. So,
That's great.
I think this is going to be a good 2 weeks for us to be able to really just kind of focus on what we want to implement for 2024. So
That's good.
we got
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you guys.
Me
This is
personally, I know I just have recovered from, I slipped like 2 discs a couple weeks ago, and been working with the chiropractor again. And so like,
What were you doing?
Was that?
What did you do? What happened? Do you know how you did it?
I was yawning too hard. I was putting on my
Blinked?
boot.
Yeah.
I blinked. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of do know. I was, this job is a little bit physical. I was in the crawl space down there for a while, got out. I was swapping my dirty boot out for my clean boot, and it just happened essentially.
Mhm.
So health is kind of on my radar. Last year I
40, right? This year?
39 here.
Sorry.
I
Let's
started
not get ahead
getting
of
back in the
ourselves.
gym, working out pretty regularly. Like I'm up 4:45, hit the gym by 5, do that for an hour, a little over an hour. I think you get
Damn, good for you. That's great.
Being a little more cardio physical. Just my health is really, after slipping those discs, I was on the couch out for too many days, I feel like. And luckily I got the guy on the team that helped step up when I couldn't do much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. You got a lot of good goals. We'll do a follow-up next year and
Yeah.
see where you got that VA implemented.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate you guys jumping on today. And I'm just glad I have my coastal property inspectors,
Heck yeah.
that I don't have to figure that out anymore, and I just stick to one. And I was really impressed just how the report came out, and how you guys ran the whole thing was great. So
Well, thank
kudos
you.
to you on doing that. Where can anyone find you on? Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
Where are you guys at?
We are Instagram. We are Pillar to Post Home Inspectors 831. We're on LinkedIn. You can find me by my name, Paige Bohrer, Bohrer. We're on Facebook, also Pillar to Post Home Inspectors 831. And where else? YouTube, Pillar to Post Home Inspectors 831. And Google.
Give us a phone call.
Yeah, phone call.
831-884-6160.
Okay.
Text. One of us answers the phone. So it'll be one of us. So if you call, you get it.
Great. Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes too.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for joining today. Really
you for having
appreciate it.
us.
Taking
It was
time
fun.
out of your business. Yeah. So I'll get it. We'll do that follow up the end of the year and see, maybe we'll compare,
Yeah.
the things that I want to get in place and what you guys did, and we'll see how that all panned out.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into our show, where we hope you found inspiration and gained valuable insights. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to stay updated on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and share it with others who might benefit from it. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more candid conversations and breakthrough moments in the future. Until next time, take care and keep exploring new ideas and strategies.